Sean here. Sorry for the lack of intro. I'm going to have to recreate it. I had to reinstall my video editing software. Oh yeah. But today we're going to be talking about something that Lorne specializes in. Now this is not something that requires some kind of intellect or genius. This is something, it's people like Lorne who haven't achieved much. They've made a lot of mistakes. They like to play the victim. It's something I call the persecution bubble. This is a part of something bigger. It's a part of people who like to play the victim. But this is more of a defense mechanism. This is something that you would only see if you talk to him more than 10 minutes a week. You see him at the hardware store. Oh, hey, Lorne, how you doing? How's your mom? How's Roy? You wouldn't necessarily see this unless you get past that surface bubble. When you talk to him for an extended period of time and you find out about who he is, and you begin to ask questions, the shield starts to go up. And I'm not talking about a wall or something repressing emotions. What I'm talking about is his ability to project everything that's happening around him onto other people. So he would be talking about, when you bring it up about his behavior, his phone calls, you bring it up about the sting, he'll be talking about everybody else who's fixated on him. But it's not just that. It goes deeper. Whenever I say deeper with Lorne, I'm like, he's got a 2-inch crooked broken dink. There's nothing going to be deep in his life. Definitely not his philosophy or thinking. What I'm talking about, a small piece of it, say you have a limited window. You're a singer, an actor, based on your looks, even if you have talent. A lot of it is based on your looks and your age. You have access to a lot of drugs, alcohol, the party lifestyle. You do something like trash a hotel room and your career's over, or canceled for something you said 15 years ago. Your career's over most of the time, unless common sense prevails. But, well, Michael Jackson, who did what he did, even after they found evidence, people still didn't believe it and they loved him. You can get away with a lot of stuff if you're talented. Lorne has no talent, so we don't have to worry about that. But these people, they do the religious tours. God meant for this to happen. I'm so glad this happened, because I was leading a horrible lifestyle. I can't believe that happened. And they don't realize they're getting into the same patterns. They have no idea, or at least maybe they just want to block it out, that they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars off their books, their videos, their television appearances, on exploiting religion, affecting those people who are suffering from things in their life, and they're looking at these people as success stories. Well, Lorne's never going to be a success. But it's similar to that. They put up a bubble, they put up a shield, and it's a way for them to cope. Lorne, the way for him to protect people finding out who he really is, and a way for him to cope, is to not focus on the mistakes he's made. As we know, he focuses on the behaviors of others. He projects. Well, I did this, so naturally everybody else did this. One of my favorites is what he told Casey about they're sitting at their house with a bowl of sugar in front of them. And she asked him, what does that have to do with anything? Well, you know, they've done things in their life. This is part of the bubble too. Lorne's denial of the way that those actors, singers, whatever, they use the religion angle, it's meant to happen. And this right here is, well, I may have done it, but there are other people who've done worse. There are people just like me. This doesn't usually solve the problem. So he has to kick it up a notch. And what I mean by kick it up a notch, he doesn't talk about his behavior. He doesn't talk about how his issues. What he talks about, what he starts discussing, are all of the dangers he has to watch out for. All of the special circumstances in his life that could affect him negatively, that make him seem like he's very important. And then, if you're associated with him, he tries to make you feel like you're important, like you're going to be dealing with the same things. Well, you know, if you get around me, I've had some very rich friends, and they were targets, and they've said the same thing. Well, you know, if you hang around me, you're going to be a target for others, because I'm a target, guilt by association. Lorne loves to project these on the women. Like, Lorne probably thinks he needs a bodyguard. You know, Mr. Tough Guy who's always getting ready to beat somebody up. Lorne probably thinks he needs a bodyguard. I think he really does believe he's a celebrity. He's not famous, he's infamous. So what he's telling Casey, for example, is I got all these people, they come by my house, they're recording me, and that's the reason I act the way I do. We have heard that so many times. He just can't seem to get it through his head that the Church of God and the other groups like us, the Lorne community, who aren't quite as, I wouldn't say obsessed, because, well, maybe I would. Obsession, those are the people who would actually go up there. You know, there have been times I thought about going up there. I want to see how tall he really is. I want to see what he would be like in person, if I would feel threatened, or if I would feel that he would be a threat, especially to women. We all have theorized that he's a big wimp in person, that he wouldn't be this tough guy that he portrays. Come on, Dan, come on up. But these are people who call his house, they call his work. I wouldn't even say that people like Ember, people like, I don't remember their names, the people who played those characters, they hated him for what he did. And I guess they wanted him to pay. And it was funny. And I always felt like they were justified in what they're doing. But unintentionally, it gave him that fabulous, well, you got to be careful. If you're me, all of these people, they're going to do everything I just mentioned. So if you come with me, just be prepared. They are obsessed with me. I bet he thinks they worship him. They see him as some kind of god. He has to take precautions. I have to do all of these steps, and it really affects my life. And it makes me angry. I'm on edge. He uses that when things are not going his way. There's a famous wrestling promo. But I don't like it when things aren't going my way. Lorne will use that as a shield. You see, I would be real with you. You see, you would see the real side of me if, and only if, all of these people would just stop bothering me. Now, for a long time, the only time Lorne would have known that people were bothering him would have been if he went on the internet. Because nobody was calling him, nobody was calling his work. But once he was discovered to be a rage monster, and he kind of got some infamy, and he wouldn't let it go, and he tried to come out and make that stupid redemption video. When people found out what he did to Betty, things were kicked up a notch. When people saw he was an unrepentant, drunken pedophile, that's when concern came in. When he started denying everything. They knew that had his work, if somebody at my work, God knows they wouldn't have been hired, had some kind of sex crime, people are supposed to be made aware. They're supposed to know. Now, there may be some cases where they are not, but most of the time, if there's somebody who's a danger to women in the office, people need to know about it, especially Lorne. Hey, watch out for this guy. He's going to obsess over you. He's going to stalk you. Be careful how you speak to him. Make sure you are clear that there is no relationship. I mean, think of the precautions you would have to take with Lorne. Why am I talking about that? Because he would tell whoever hired him, look, the only reason I'm like that, I was taken advantage of, I was this and that. I got to be careful. Got to take precautions of people because they're going to abuse me. They're going to take my money. And people are always doing this and that. Church of God, these people who are obsessed, they have no life. Lorne, you are a source of laughter and a source of entertainment. You're so oblivious. Your self-awareness is non-existent. Even when Casey is telling you that you create all of these problems, if you wouldn't talk to them, if you wouldn't engage them, there would be no Church of God. There would be no Lorne community, but you're the gift that keeps on giving. You talk about how stupid they are. He doesn't want to own up to the fact that he's talking to them. He doesn't want to own up to the fact that all he wants is attention. It would be so easy, like it was for these other people who were on the show. There are some, like David Schumacher, who are career criminals. They are really bad people. We're talking about Lorne. This guy had a chance to leave it all behind him. He could have been a truck driver. He could have just done his job. But without these catfish women, we've talked about this, he has nothing. So when he finally gets them, he loves to start talking about living together and getting married. Well, Casey, he wasn't getting anywhere. So he's telling this actress, like, we got to be very careful. When you move in with me, we're going to have to take all these precautions. And I'm thinking in my head, Lorne, she never agreed to move in with you, buddy. You're talking about moving in with somebody, even after there's been established there's no relationship. You know, don't talk to me. He can't. I've got to talk to you. Without you, I don't have anything. He's too dumb to understand that his own actions are why he has to put this protective bubble up. He has to put it up because he's talking to these people. He's doing things. He's allowing them access to him. He's engaging them. If he would simply stop living off the past, if he would simply stop living off the past and engaging people he doesn't know, that he can't verify who they are, anybody who shows him a little bit of attention, he's going to engage. When that guy was up there, Socks or whoever it was, with that absolutely terrible recording that I've listened to multiple times, that's proof right there that he is a source of entertainment. He is creating this problem for himself. People are willing to listen to one of the worst audio qualities in terms of recordings on the planet because he's a never-ending source of entertainment. Again, if he wouldn't engage them, if he wouldn't give them information, if he wouldn't just jump all over the first sign of attention that he gets, he could move on with his life. He can't move on from sex offender class, probation and parole. He will always be under supervision. They know that he's going to talk to these catfish women, and here's why they are concerned. Anything with the vagina that shows him attention, he's going to fall in love with them. So say he did talk to another kid. Hey, Lorne, how are you? We're getting married. He's going to be obsessed with the child, just like he was with Kayla. If he didn't continue to show these patterns, if he didn't continue to prove that any attention is going to hook him, and it wasn't on the internet especially, I think that probation and parole would be a little more understanding, and they might see he was trying to change. He graduated a sex offender class, whatever it is. They could say to themselves, okay, he's making progress, he's trying to change. The first sign he gets of any attention, he's going to be hooked. Because his life is terrible, and he needs it. He needs that attention. He wants to find somebody who can show them that they care. This is something you hear when he talks about catfish women. It's something he always goes back to. Well, the only reason I did it is because I thought they cared about me. Even when Casey brought up the fact that he called Ramona after he found out she was a catfish, he called her back and said, "Do you care about me?" He just wouldn't let it go. Think about his brothers and sisters when he talks about how they abused him. I bet he used the same term. I thought they cared about me, because you know they didn't. And the first time they showed him any kind of sympathy or compassion, he just immediately jumped all over it, and he started talking about how, you know, they finally care about me. They finally showed me some attention, and then his behavior chased him off, and then it was that he was used. There will never come a time where he will not speak to a catfish, where he doesn't speak to somebody who shows him any kind of attention because he wants to feel special. We talked about how he loves and hates NBC, how he needs it and wishes it would go away. That's Lorne. This is why that bubble is so important. Anybody he talks to, anybody he's afraid that's going to leave, these catfish women, anybody, probably people in his real life, anyone he's afraid is going to leave him, who's identified the behavior, he's going to start lumping them in with him. Well, you know, this is what I deal with. Now that you're talking to me, you're going to be a focus of all these people. They're going to be obsessed with you, because I think he thinks it's a badge of honor. You've seen these people. You've seen them talk about their boss trying to get them at work, you know, the self-victimization thing, the martyr syndrome. You've seen those people. This is a little different, as I've said. This is somebody who likes to take outside circumstances, apply them to himself, use it to not talk about his faults, not talk about the reason for his faults, but talk about something so far in the distance that shouldn't have any effect on him, that he caused himself. Those are the actual reasons he behaves the way he does. I want you to put yourself in that situation. You have nothing going on in your life. Get that mindset. You have nothing going on. You've made a lot of mistakes. Someone is talking to you. They discover who you really are, what you've done, and they start questioning you on it. You don't go into, I act the way I did because they treated me like an asshole, I had to deal with all of that. You go into what you're currently dealing with. And that's the point. He goes into what's currently happening. Things that are still going on, that he's got to be extra careful, even though he's talking to catfish women, which is the least careful thing that you can do. I got to be careful. Now that we're talking, I'm going to have to warn you. I'm a celebrity. Now that you're talking to me, you're going to be a celebrity too. When they find my address, they're going to find your address. You know, they're going to find out you're with me. They're going to be calling you. They're going to be following you to your work. They're going to call your work. They're going to be catfishing you. He doesn't understand that other people are smarter than him, that they're not going to make the same mistakes as he is. So this little bubble he puts up, this shield of precautions, the things that are affecting him daily, and that's why he's not successful. He's going to try to draw you into it, sit you down next to him, and now you're in the same situation he is, and now all of his faults because you accepted it. You're okay with that, just like when you call him back after he leaves you those messages, or he hangs up on you after mentally and verbally abusing you. You call him back, you're validating it. By being with him, if he lays on all this stuff on you, if he tells you all of this, and he sees that you accept it, that you're willing to deal with it, you are now in the same boat. His behavior is going to be okay. Any fight that you have, this is why he's okay with any fight that you have, is going to be a true sign of caring. And look how much progress we've made. We're both dealing with the same things. We both need to calm down. So much more goes into this, but on the way to work today, you know, I'm kind of having a rough week. I really just wanted to discuss this because it is what he's doing, and he'll be on his deathbed talking about how people are outside the door. People are calling the hospital. People are still trying to catfish him. When he dies, he's going to get to heaven. He's going to tell St. Peter, well, he won't go there. He's going to tell St. Peter, the reason I was the way I was because of the catfish. And now that you're letting me into heaven, everybody else in heaven is now going to be under the same threats. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.